In the dazzling world of Hollywood, the most powerful stories aren't found on screen. They happen when the cameras stop rolling. There are moments hidden behind the closed doors of an operating room where legendary stars faced their final scene. They walked in with hope, with dreams unfinished, and love left unspoken. But fate chose a different script. In today's video, we uncover the untold final chapters of icons who passed away during surgery. These are stories of mystery, courage, and a legacy that refuses to fade. If you want to honor their memory, comment the number 1. If this topic isn't for you, you can leave a 0. Every emotion is valid here. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss the hidden truths of Hollywood's past. Now, let's pull back the curtain on their final journey. On the morning of April 26, 1989, Lucille Ball, the legendary icon of American television, was rushed back to Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Los Angeles after suddenly experiencing severe chest pain. Just 8 days earlier, she had undergone a major heart surgery to repair her aorta and replace a damaged heart valve. The initial surgery had been declared successful, leading fans to believe she was on the road to recovery. However, inside her body, the already fragile artery that the doctors had worked hard to repair began to deteriorate severely. Continuous monitoring devices sounded alarms, and nurses and doctors stood vigil by her bedside during those tense moments. The woman who once made millions laugh out loud through her role as Lucy Ricardo was now fighting to hold on to her life. In an instant, the repaired artery suddenly ruptured, causing severe internal bleeding. Despite emergency treatment, Lucille Ball did not survive. Her heart stopped beating at 4:47 a.m. The news of her passing quickly spread across America, with television networks interrupting their programs to report the death of the Queen of Comedy. Fans gathered outside the hospital, many weeping in grief, while others still couldn't believe that the woman who had brought them laughter and joy for decades was gone forever. Lucille Ball was a symbol of resilience and passion for her work, even though her heart had warned her many times about her fragile health. She once said that she didn't want to disappear quietly, and true to that, her final moments were dramatic and unforgettable, much like the scenes she once performed in. Lucille's story helped raise awareness about the dangers of aortic aneurysms, especially among the elderly. It also serves as a reminder of the fragility of the human body, even when outward appearances can make someone seem immortal in the eyes of the public. The laughter she left behind is eternal, but now the story of her final moments carries a meaning of courage, vulnerability, and the harshness of fate under the cold lights of the operating room. On the morning of November 7, 1980, film legend Steve McQueen took his final breaths in a small hospital room in Ciudad Juárez, Mexico. He had come there in desperation, seeking one last chance to fight the deadly disease mesothelioma, a type of cancer caused by exposure to asbestos, a toxic substance encountered during his years of filmmaking and car repair. Just hours earlier, McQueen had undergone surgery to remove large tumors from his neck and abdomen. He believed that if he could get through this operation, he would gain more time to spend with his family and loved ones. However, his body was too weak, having endured years of illness and unsuccessful experimental treatments. As the anesthesia wore off, his heartbeat gradually weakened and then stopped, despite the medical team's efforts to revive him. At 3:45 a.m., Steve McQueen took his final breath. Outside the hospital, a few loyal fans waited anxiously for news, unaware that the man who once raced cars through the streets of San Francisco and escaped from a Nazi prison camp in the film The Great Escape had become a legend. For many months prior, he knew his time was limited, but refused to surrender to fate, risking everything to keep living. Steve McQueen was a symbol of rebellious spirit, never bowing to adversity, even as cancer stole his health and life. The image of him holding a cigarette and smiling proudly in the face of danger lives on forever in the hearts of film lovers. His death on the operating table remains one of Hollywood's most haunting tragedies, reminding us of life's fragility and an indomitable spirit that never yields. On February 25, 2017, the film world, and especially Hollywood, was shocked to hear the sudden news of Bill Paxton's passing. The actor, famous for roles in blockbuster films like Titanic and Twister, died unexpectedly following what seemed to be a routine heart surgery. He underwent valve replacement and aortic aneurysm repair at Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Los Angeles. Initially, the surgery was successful, and he showed signs of recovery. However, complications arose when a blood clot traveled to his brain, causing a severe stroke that led to his death at the age of 61. Bill Paxton's resilient and optimistic spirit defined who he was. Despite facing many hard issues over the years, he maintained a positive attitude and a strong determination to fully live his passion for the arts while spending quality time with his family. Paxton is remembered not only as a talented actor, but also as an inspiring person known for his kindness, sense of humor, and ability to create a warm, friendly atmosphere on set, something rare in the high-pressure entertainment industry. Bill Paxton's story also carries an important educational message about cardiovascular health, one of the leading causes of death worldwide. Those with heart conditions need careful monitoring, a healthy lifestyle, and strict adherence to medical advice to reduce risks. Despite advances in medical science, heart surgery still carries many risks. Raising awareness and supporting medical research are essential to saving more lives in the future. Bill Paxton's legacy is not only the memorable roles that left a mark on audiences, but also a shining example of perseverance, kindness, and optimism. He inspired generations of artists and fans worldwide. Bill's life and career remind us of the value of faith, resilience, and most importantly, cherishing every precious moment with our loved ones. His passing was a great loss, but his spiritual legacy lives on forever. Renowned director James Cameron, who worked with Bill Paxton on blockbuster films like Titanic and Aliens, once said that Bill was one of the most genuine souls he had ever known. For many fans, Bill Paxton was not just an actor, but also a symbol of the everyday hero, brave, sincere, and possessing deeply human vulnerabilities. It was this closeness and honesty that won the hearts of millions around the world. After Bill's passing, his family filed a lawsuit against the hospital where he was treated, alleging negligence during the heart surgery. The lawsuit quickly drew widespread attention, sparking important discussions about surgical risks and patient safety. Although the terms of the settlement between the parties remained confidential, Bill Paxton's story became a serious warning about the unpredictability of medical complications, no matter how carefully prepared a surgery may be. For millions of fans who grew up watching his films, Bill Paxton's passing was not just the loss of a star, but an emotional farewell to a close friend on screen. Bill had braved terrifying tornadoes in Twister, battled aliens in Aliens, and faced off against alien queens in many other works. But it was a silent medical complication that ultimately took his life, revealing the fragility of real life compared to the grand image on the silver screen. Bill Paxton's final days were a deeply emotional blend of courage and human vulnerability in the face of fate. His story reminds us that whether a hero on screen or not, everyone must confront unpredictable challenges in life. Bill's passing is a precious reminder to cherish our health, embrace perseverance, and hold dear the love for those closest to us. On the evening of September 11, 2003, John Ritter suddenly collapsed on the set of the television show 8 Simple Rules. Initially, everyone believed he was having a heart attack. He was quickly rushed to Providence St. Joseph Medical Center in Burbank, right across from the filming studio. In the operating room, doctors discovered that the real cause was not a heart attack, but a large tear in the aorta, known as an aortic dissection, a life-threatening condition. As the doctors attempted to repair the tear, John's heart stopped beating. Despite efforts to revive him, he never regained consciousness. At 10:48 p.m., John Ritter was confirmed dead at the age of 54. His wife, actress Amy Yasbeck, was by his side during his final moments, still in shock at how quickly life had changed. Just hours earlier, he had been laughing with colleagues, rehearsing his script, and bringing joy to everyone around him as usual. The heartbreaking news spread quickly, and America woke up to the loss of one of its most beloved comedic actors. John Ritter had been an inseparable part of many generations' lives, from his iconic role as Jack Tripper in Three's Company to his portrayal of a devoted father in later television shows. The autopsy later confirmed that the misdiagnosis of a heart attack caused the hospital to lose precious golden minutes that could have saved his life. His wife later sued the hospital and the doctors, not out of anger, but in hopes of raising awareness about aortic dissection, aiming to help save more lives in the future. Friends and colleagues remember John as a man who was always humble, kind, and funny, even in his most private moments. His passing shook Hollywood, as he had always been full of life energy and a deep joy for his craft. The tragedy of that fateful night stands as a stark reminder of the unpredictability of the human body, even in someone who brought so much life to others. Today, John Ritter's legacy lives on through the laughter he left behind and through the charitable foundation that bears his name, dedicated to raising awareness about heart and aortic health for future generations. On the afternoon of October 5, 2004, the world lost one of its most beloved comedians when Rodney Dangerfield passed away due to complications from heart surgery. 2 months earlier, he had undergone a heart valve replacement at the UCLA Medical Center in Los Angeles. Initially, the surgery seemed successful. Before entering the operating room, he even joked with reporters that the doctor gave him only a 1% chance of survival. With his trademark grin, he said it was the best odds he'd ever gotten. After the surgery, Rodney appeared to be recovering well. Friends recalled that he remained humorous, teasing nurses from his hospital bed, and even asked for a martini and one last round of applause. But in the weeks that followed, his health began to steadily decline. Age-previous surgeries and a developing infection took their toll, and his heart could no longer keep up. At 82, the man who built a career on self-deprecating humor and lightning-fast wit passed away peacefully with his beloved wife Joan by his side. The heartbreaking news was met with an outpouring of grief and tributes from fellow performers, actors, and fans around the world. Johnny Carson once called Rodney Dangerfield one of the funniest men to ever take the stage, and generations of younger comedians have since looked up to him as a mentor and a powerful source of inspiration. Rodney started his career late, having worked a variety of jobs before rising to fame at the age of 40. His big break came on The Tonight Show, where his rapid-fire jokes and signature catchphrase, "I don't get no respect," became a staple of American pop culture. In the days following his passing, late-night shows replayed countless clips of his legendary performances. Audiences laughed through their tears watching a man who turned pain into laughter and anxiety into art. Offstage, Rodney was always open about his struggles with depression and health issues. It was his courage to share his imperfections that made him not only funny, but deeply human. Rodney Dangerfield's final moments were quiet, far from the bright lights of the stage. But his legacy echoes on in every joke told in every comedy club and hall where someone stands up, tells a story, and hopes for respect, just like the man who made the whole world laugh. On the evening of May 17, 2004, Tony Randall passed away at New York University Medical Center due to complications following heart bypass surgery. Months earlier, the 84-year-old actor had undergone the procedure to improve blood flow and address long-standing heart issues. While the surgery itself was successful, the recovery proved to be difficult. In the weeks that followed, he developed pneumonia, a common but dangerous complication for elderly patients. Despite aggressive treatment, his lungs could not recover and eventually his heart gave out. Tony Randall had been a familiar face on American television for over half a century. To millions, he will forever be Felix Unger from the classic sitcom The Odd Couple, a character known for his perfectionist nature and unique charm reflecting Randall's own meticulous personality. Offstage, he was also a respected stage actor, a tireless advocate for the arts, and a sharp, intelligent friend. In his final days, friends remembered him as calm and accepting of his fate with the dry humor that made him famous. He once said, "If you live long enough, you'll see all the people you love go before you." That was the last joke of his life. When pneumonia set in, he told the nurse not to pity him. He had lived a full life, loved deeply, and done what he longed for most performing. Tony Randall's passing was a great loss to the theater community to which he devoted his entire life. In the 1990s, he founded the National Theater for Actors in New York, with the goal of bringing classic plays closer to modern audiences. Even in his 80s, he continued performing, appearing on talk shows, and tirelessly promoting the art of live theater. Colleagues remembered him for his sharp wit, his kindness, and his rare ability to make everyone feel truly seen and valued. After his passing, a wave of tributes swept through the entertainment world. Many found it painfully ironic that someone who had spent his life making others laugh and reflect would be taken by something as cold and clinical as post-surgical pneumonia. But in many ways, Tony Randall's story ended the way he wanted, with dignity, surrounded by loved ones, and remembered as a true gentleman of Hollywood's golden era. Tony Randall, the gentleman of Hollywood who brought laughter and emotional depth to millions, passed away following complications from heart surgery. Though no longer with us, he lives on through his roles and artistic legacy. If you were impressed by him, comment with the number 2. If not, leave a 5. Remember to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss upcoming videos about cinema legends. On the morning of August 28, 2014, Joan Rivers stopped breathing during an outpatient procedure at the Yorkville Endoscopy Clinic in Manhattan. The 81-year-old comedian had come in for a simple examination to inspect her vocal cords and throat. Doctors performed a laryngoscopy and upper gastrointestinal endoscopy under anesthesia, with the procedure expected to take less than an hour. However, things did not go as planned. During the examination, her blood oxygen levels suddenly dropped without anyone noticing in time. Within minutes, her heart stopped beating. Joan was rushed by ambulance to Mount Sinai Hospital, where doctors managed to restart her heart. However, due to prolonged oxygen deprivation, her brain suffered irreversible damage. In the following days, she was placed in a medically induced coma with her daughter Melissa by her side, caring for her constantly. On September 4th, Joan Rivers was declared dead. The official cause was brain damage caused by oxygen deprivation during the laryngoscopy and endoscopy procedure. This tragedy shook the entertainment world. Joan Rivers had performed a comedy show full of energy and sharp wit just the night before, showing no signs of poor health. Fans could not believe that such a vibrant woman had passed away from what seemed like a simple outpatient procedure. New York City. The place she called home for decades held memorials with candles, flowers, and laughter echoing through the streets. An investigation was launched to determine the cause. Reports later revealed multiple serious errors during the procedure, including inadequate monitoring of her vital signs and an unauthorized biopsy performed by a visiting doctor. The clinic quickly became the focus of harsh criticism, and Joan Rivers' death sparked national discussions about patient safety even in minor surgical procedures. Joan Rivers was more than just a comedian. She was a pioneer. She broke barriers for women in comedy, boldly confronting taboos about age, beauty, and fame. Her sharp words could sometimes be harsh, but they were always honest. She lived every moment with relentless determination, refusing to slow down or retire. Ultimately, her passing serves as a painful reminder that even the simplest procedures carry risks. The spotlight dimmed for the woman who devoted her life to chasing that light. In her final moments, the laughter, the hallmark of her career, faded into silence, leaving behind a legacy that no tragedy can erase. On the afternoon of December 31st, 2013, James Avery, best known for his role as Uncle Phil in the beloved sitcom The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, passed away at Glendale Adventist Medical Center in California. The 68-year-old actor had undergone open-heart surgery just days earlier. Initially, the surgery seemed successful, and doctors were optimistic about his recovery. But soon after, complications arose. His body, already weakened by years of battling illness, could not withstand the strain. An unexpected infection led to multiple organ failure, and on the last day of the year, he passed away. His wife, Barbara, held his hand during his final moments. His wife shared that despite his worsening condition, he remained calm and dignified. In her eyes, he was not just a husband, but a gentle giant carrying love in his voice and kindness in his eyes. News of his passing quickly spread on social media, with thousands of fans paying tribute and sharing iconic quotes from his memorable television moments. Will Smith, who played his on-screen nephew, wrote that the world had lost a second father. The cast of The Fresh Prince gathered privately to remember the man who guided and protected them both on and off the screen. For those who grew up in the 90s, James Avery's deep, warm voice and strong presence symbolized wisdom, authority, and warmth all at once. Before gaining fame on television, he served in the U.S. Navy during the Vietnam War. Later, he became a respected Shakespearean actor, lending a profound and resonant voice to both stage and animated roles. His role as Uncle Phil transformed a comedy about a mischievous teenager into a deeply moving story about family and belonging. In real life, he was passionate about arts education and spent many years mentoring young actors. The ultimate irony is that the man who symbolized strength and steadfastness on screen passed away so fragile and vulnerable. His death following heart surgery highlights that even those who appear strongest and invincible can be defeated by the smallest complications. Yet the memory of his voice, laughter, and kindness continues to resonate, a lasting legacy of a man who gave television one of the most unforgettable father figures ever. On the morning of February 1, 1988, Heather O'Rourke, the angel-faced girl from the Poltergeist film series, was rushed to San Diego Children's Hospital after suddenly collapsing at home. The 12-year-old had been diagnosed with Crohn's disease, a chronic inflammatory bowel condition, a few months earlier, and was undergoing medication treatment. That morning, Heather woke up pale and dizzy with her abdomen unusually swollen. Her mother immediately called emergency services, and medical personnel arrived within minutes. While en route to the hospital by ambulance, Heather suffered a cardiac arrest. Doctors successfully resuscitated her, but she had suffered a severe shock. At the hospital, surgeons discovered that Heather's intestines had ruptured due to a congenital blockage that had been misdiagnosed. They quickly performed emergency surgery to repair the damage and prevent infection from spreading throughout her body. The operation lasted several hours, but Heather's small body couldn't withstand the severe trauma. Shortly after the surgery ended, she suffered another cardiac arrest, and despite efforts to save her, Heather O'Rourke passed away that afternoon. News of her passing shocked Hollywood and audiences worldwide. Just a year earlier, she had appeared on television radiant and full of life, promoting the Poltergeist sequel with a bright smile. Heather had become a familiar face, the girl who looked straight into the camera and uttered the iconic line, "They're here." Her sudden death at such a young age added another haunting layer to a film already surrounded by tales of a curse. The autopsy conclusion confirmed that Heather O'Rourke did not have Crohn's disease as initially diagnosed. In reality, she had an undetected congenital intestinal defect. This misdiagnosis led to tragic consequences as her condition went untreated in time. Heather's death prompted national health agencies to review similar cases in children and highlighted the critical importance of accurate diagnosis. Family, friends, and fans bid her farewell in her hometown, where her coffin was draped with pink roses. Heather became a symbol of innocence and tragedy, reminding everyone that even the brightest stars can be taken too soon. On the afternoon of June 17, 1961, Jeff Chandler, one of Hollywood's top stars of the 1950s, passed away due to complications from a routine spinal surgery at a hospital in Culver City, California. The 42-year-old actor underwent the surgery to repair a herniated disc, a condition that had caused him severe back pain for months. The operation was expected to be simple, but during the procedure, an artery was accidentally severed. Severe internal bleeding occurred immediately, and the doctors fought for hours to stabilize his condition. Jeff spent several days in critical condition. He had to undergo 2 additional emergency surgeries to stop the bleeding and repair the damage. Friends and colleagues from the film industry frequently visited the hospital, anxiously awaiting updates. His family remained hopeful, but by the 3rd day, his body could no longer endure. The heart that had carried him through war, fame, and the pressures of Hollywood finally stopped beating under that strain. News of Jeff's death sent shockwaves through the film industry. Just a few years earlier, he had been nominated for an Oscar for his role in Broken Arrow and was considered one of Universal Pictures' biggest stars. With his tall stature, silver hair, and commanding voice, Chandler was famous for roles as soldiers, cowboys, and romantic heroes. In real life, he was known as a gentleman, reserved, generous, and devoted to his 2 daughters. Later reports revealed that during the initial surgery, a serious medical error occurred but was not detected in time. His tragedy raised many questions within the medical community and society about the negligence and dangers of post-operative complications. In an era before strict surgical monitoring standards, Jeff Chandler's death became an important lesson in improving hospital safety. His funeral attracted hundreds of people, including many of Hollywood's most famous names. The image of the coffin covered with flowers became a sorrowful symbol of a career cut short. Fans remembered him with an image of calmness and quiet dignity, qualities that set him apart in an industry full of glamour. Ultimately, Jeff Chandler's passing was not just another Hollywood tragedy, but also a lesson about the fragility of life, where even youth, success, and strength cannot guarantee a tomorrow free from the cruelty of fate under the surgeon's knife. On the evening of January 14, 1965, Jeanette MacDonald, a singer and actress renowned for her silver voice in Hollywood's golden musicals, was rushed to Houston Methodist Hospital in Texas for emergency heart surgery. The 61-year-old artist had suffered from chronic heart disease for many years, but continued to perform despite multiple warnings from doctors. That day, she experienced severe chest pain and difficulty breathing. Her husband, actor Gene Raymond, immediately took her to Houston, where she was admitted under the care of one of the nation's leading heart surgeons. The doctors prepared her for mitral valve replacement surgery, a dangerous and high-risk operation at that time. The surgery began late at night and lasted for many hours. The doctors proceeded very carefully to repair the damage, but Jeanette's fragile heart could not withstand the strain any longer. Just minutes before the final stitches were completed, her heart stopped beating. Despite prolonged resuscitation efforts, her heartbeat never returned. She was declared dead just before dawn. News of Jeanette's passing quickly spread deeply, moving the artistic community and the public. To millions of fans, Jeanette MacDonald was not only a film star, but also a symbol of romance and elegance. Throughout the 1930s, she captivated audiences worldwide with her crystal-clear soprano voice and unforgettable performances, alongside Nelson Eddy in musicals such as Rosemary and Maytime. They became one of the most beloved on-screen couples of the era, their melodies echoing across radio waves and movie theaters. As tributes poured in, fans remembered her as an artist full of grace, elegance, and discipline. She was one of the few actresses of her generation to maintain both artistic respect and public admiration through decades of changing tastes. Her husband described Jeanette's final hours as very peaceful. She went to sleep with courage and dignity. Jeanette's death also raised awareness about the limitations of heart surgery in its early years. The surgery might have saved her if performed during a more modern era, but in the 1960s, the technique was still very primitive. Her case inspired much research aimed at improving heart valve replacement techniques, indirectly saving thousands of lives thereafter. Although she has passed away, Jeanette MacDonald's voice remains immortal. Her recordings still echo on radio waves, carrying the spirit of an era when Hollywood celebrated beauty music and the enduring power of love. On the evening of September 22nd, 2010, singer and actor Eddie Fisher passed away at the University of California, Los Angeles Medical Center due to complications from hip surgery. At 82 years old, he had suffered a hip fracture in a fall at his Berkeley home a few weeks earlier. Doctors recommended surgery to repair the fracture, a routine procedure for elderly patients. The initial surgery was successful, but just hours after leaving the recovery room, he experienced severe internal bleeding. His blood pressure dropped suddenly, and despite rapid intervention, his body could not recover. His family gathered by his side at the hospital as he peacefully took his last breath. His daughter, actress Carrie Fisher, later described her father's death as sudden but not unexpected given the complex and full life he had lived. The news spread quickly everywhere. Younger generations knew him mainly through his high-profile marriages to Debbie Reynolds and Elizabeth Taylor, while early fans remembered him as one of the most celebrated singers of the 1950s. At the peak of his career, Eddie Fisher's voice resonated across America, with hits like "Wish You Were Here" and "Oh My Papa." He also acted in films, hosted television shows, and was once seen as the heir to Frank Sinatra's throne. However, fame came with a price. His personal life often overshadowed his career, especially after the infamous love scandal with Elizabeth Taylor, one of Hollywood's most notorious controversies. Despite the impact on his reputation, his talent never faded. In his later years, Fisher lived a peaceful life, occasionally performing at charity events and reflecting on the tumultuous decades that shaped him. Those close to him said he faced old age with humility and humor, grateful that his voice lived on even as fame had passed. The hip fracture that led to his passing was a bitter shock for a man who always walked confidently and gracefully on stage. Eddie Fisher's death after surgery serves as a reminder of the risks faced by the elderly, even during seemingly simple procedures. Doctors noted that his weakened blood vessels and history of heart disease made recovery nearly impossible. He leaves behind a musical legacy that captured a simpler era of America, when love songs ruled the radio waves and fame was both a blessing and a silent burden. On the evening of October 25, 2002, Richard Harris passed away at University College Hospital in London, where he had been admitted weeks earlier to treat pneumonia. The Irish actor, renowned for his powerful voice and captivating presence, underwent surgery to alleviate complications from Hodgkin's lymphoma. Initially, the surgery seemed successful, but the combination of cancer and infection overwhelmed his body beyond recovery. Within days, his condition rapidly deteriorated, and he slipped into a coma before taking his last breath in the arms of his children. The news quickly spread throughout Hollywood and around the world. Fans who grew up with classic films like Camelot: A Man Called Horse, and especially his role as Professor Dumbledore in the Harry Potter series, were deeply shocked. Many still believed he was recovering, unaware of how severe his illness had become. His final role left a lasting impact, bringing warmth and dignity to a character remembered by generations. Before his passing, Richard Harris maintained his optimistic and humorous spirit. He joked with the nurses requesting a pint of Guinness in his hospital room and told visitors that he would only leave the hospital feet first. His wit and indomitable spirit never faded. Those close to him remarked that he faced illness with the same passion he brought to the stage. His life was full of ups and downs, from a rebellious young man with a drinking habit and wild lifestyle to a serious, profound, and disciplined actor. When offered the role of Dumbledore, he only accepted after his niece pleaded with him not to disappoint her. After his passing, many tributes poured in from actors, filmmakers, and politicians in Ireland and the UK. His funeral at St. Mary's Church in London drew a large crowd of fans, not only to honor his talent, but also to celebrate his generosity and sharp intellect. Richard Harris's final battle, ending in a modest hospital room after surgery, stood in stark contrast to the grandeur of his theatrical life. Yet this was precisely the truth. His art reflected courage and imperfection walk hand in hand, even in the heart of a legend. On the evening of October 10, 2004, Christopher Reeve passed away at Northern Westchester Hospital in New York after suffering cardiac arrest during recovery from surgery. The 52-year-old actor, best known as the immortal Superman, had been paralyzed from the neck down following a horseback riding accident in 1995. In the years after the accident, he underwent numerous surgeries to treat complications such as infections, breathing difficulties, and pressure sores. His final surgery, intended to close wounds and prevent further infection, initially seemed routine. However, just hours later, a severe infection spread throughout his body, leading to sepsis and heart failure. His wife Dana was by his side in his final moments as doctors attempted resuscitation. For nearly a decade, she was his steadfast support, helping him live a full and meaningful life despite his severe injury. The final moments were described as peaceful. The heart that carried so much courage and determination finally stopped beating. News of his passing shocked the world. Christopher Reeve was not just an actor, but a symbol of hope and perseverance. After the accident, he refused to disappear from the public spotlight. Instead, he devoted himself to advocating for spinal cord research and improving conditions for people with disabilities. His public appearances, often from his electric wheelchair, inspired millions. He once said that a true hero isn't someone who can fly or has superhuman strength, but someone who can get up every day to fight battles unseen by others. In his final years, his body grew frail, but his spirit remained strong. He continued directing films, giving lectures, and supporting medical innovations. Scientists later acknowledged that his activism helped advance stem cell research in the United States. For many, he proved that courage can exist beyond the screen in the quiet perseverance of everyday life. When he passed away, tributes poured in from around the world. Fans laid flowers outside theaters, and the Superman theme gently played at memorial services. Christopher Reeve's story did not end in defeat, but in dignity and hope. His life reminds us that even if the body falls, the human spirit can soar higher than any superhero. In the dazzling lights of Hollywood, every legend is not just a star on the screen, but a symbol of passion, aspiration, and courage. Though they have left this world during their most difficult moments, the stories and legacies they leave behind live forever in the hearts of millions. They remind us that the value of life isn't measured by time, but by the moments and emotions we share. If these stories have touched your heart, please hit like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to continue honoring legends and spreading this powerful spirit of inspiration. Thank you for joining us, and see you in the next stories.